Welcome back, everybody, to the HeatWave Podcast, part of the Roundtable Sports Network. My name is Anthony Aguirre, Miami Heat and Miami Hurricanes beat writer. Now, sorry for this delay for this episode, but listen, it's been very busy around the Coral Gables campus. The Miami Hurricanes baseball program returns to regionals, and this time around, they're going to be in Gainesville. Now, they're not going to face the Florida Gators just yet, even though that would be a great matchup right away. They got to take care of business against Troy first to get into the winnings bracket and then potentially face the Florida Gators in this regionals matchup. So, with that being said, if you're interested in college baseball, in the Miami Hurricanes, please scan the QR code and please click the join button to be a part of the Miami Hurricanes community where we provide everyday coverage for free. Again, Miami Hurricanes Roundtable, everyday coverage for free. I mean, come on, this is the best time of year for college baseball. This is what you play for. And the Hurricanes last year made it to the Super Regionals for the first time since 2016. They're obviously hoping to get further, a trip to Omaha. So listen, let's get it rolling, please. Thank you very much. But of course, to stick to the heat of things, if you want to continue supporting the Miami Heat content, then please scan the QR code and be a member of the Miami Heat Roundtable community. Again, it's absolutely free. So please support, and we appreciate it very much. Thank you. Now, there's a lot to get into recently. Now, of course, let's start with the obvious. The New York Knicks getting through the Cleveland Cavaliers, sweeping the Eastern Conference Finals, and now going to the NBA Finals for the first time since 1999. I wasn't even alive yet. I was born in 2003. So this is the first time in my lifetime that I actually see the New York Knicks find this level of success. And congrats to them. They've earned it. Mike Brown has done an amazing job. You know, it's embarrassing for the Sacramento Kings how they let him go. It's embarrassing now for the Dallas Mavericks how they let Jalen Brunson go. So honestly, listen, the Knicks really they rolled the dice, and my gosh, they've landed on every gamble. They did everything right. They flipped things around. It just kudos to them. Kudos to them on this. But it should also show again just how far the Heat are in the Eastern Conference. Because talent-wise, they're never remotely close to the New York Knicks, nor the Boston Celtics, nor the Cleveland Cavaliers, nor the Detroit Pistons. Changes are desperately needed, as I've written before multiple times since the Heat got eliminated in the play-in tournament. Now, again, the worst kept secret in the league is the Miami Heat going for Giannis. It is the worst kept secret. Even the last person on the totem pole, they know that the Heat want Giannis. Everyone knows that the Heat want Giannis. So, according to the Miami Herald's Barry Jackson, a tremendous journalist, one of the most respected in the business, he stated that the Heat have made an offer. Now, he didn't exactly share what the offer was, but okay, the Miami Heat submit an offer. Now, in the business of sports in general, when it comes to trades, of course, you don't just present your best offer right away. You present a offer and then build from there in terms of what you think could be fair for both parties. But they're not the only ones, because according to the Stein line, the Boston Celtics are also in the mix for Giannis, and he mentioned that both the Heat and the Celtics are very intriguing options for Giannis. Now, I wrote about this yesterday. You can find the article once again if you scan the QR code right here, you'll find all pieces for just all our Miami Heat content here on Roundtable. Um, Yeah, so I wrote just how the Celtics do pose a threat to the Heat in terms of landing Giannis. Now, the Los Angeles Lakers and the Knicks, they were mentioned to be other teams potentially in the sweepstakes, but I'm not buying that, to be honest. Uh, so when it comes to the Celtics, I do believe that they pose as a big threat. Not even just because of assets, no. Because if anything, because when I went back to Spotrac on both of the teams, the Boston Celtics, one of their future picks, I believe 2032 is frozen. So they won't be able to use that pick or trade that pick. So they're minus a pick and what they can give up. And the Heat, they have more, including this year's number 13th overall pick. Now, funny enough, again, the Miami Herald mentioned how because of the rules about not having a first round in 2 consecutive years, so for the Heat, they have to keep this number 13 pick. They cannot trade it right away. But what they can do is, on behalf of the Bucks, is select the player that they want and then complete the trade with that. Now, that would mean that this a trade between the Heat and the Bucks would likely be finalized the day of the draft or shortly after the draft. So again, this whole thing could last just a few weeks because the draft is not until like a month from now. So it's gonna be a lot of patience needs to be required from Heat Nation. But the Celtics, they do pose as a big threat just because of the fact that they've obviously won a championship within the last 6 years. And of course, Giannis, he wants to keep winning. He wants to keep winning championships. And Jason Tatum, he when he came back, he didn't appear to miss a step. He really looked like, hey, this is the obviously a different role because Jaylen Brown is the guy now, at least for this season. So the fact that Tatum looked like a very, very, very good player coming off a very, serious injury, it just shows that okay, that he still got it. There's no step back, there's no misstep, there's nothing to worry about really about Tatum's future. So he'll go into the off season, primarily healthy, and then keep getting stronger for next season. And that poses a big threat for the Miami Heat. And of course, Brad Stevens he's almost like the Sam Presti of the East. And listen, when he got Drew Holiday, when he got Kristaps Porzingis, of course that put them way over the second apron. But listen, they got a championship out of it. They were a very dominant team, regardless of play style, regardless of what stats might show you. They won a championship. It is what it is. And then when he got rid of those guys, obviously because it was unsustainable, new ownership was coming in. He got some pretty good returns for them. So now the next step is obviously to keep contending. The Celtics managed to contend with Nemias Queta as their starting center. That's no shade to him. I followed Nemias since he was in Sacramento. But the fact that the Celtics were able to take a lot of guys and elevate their game to finish second in the Eastern Conference, it just goes to show that hey, they had a plan, they executed very well, and they finished where they finished. So clearly they have like just they have a lot of proper, how do I say this? They have a smart way of doing things organization wise. And again, that could be intriguing to Giannis. But for the Heat, again, they have way more assets to offer, including with younger players too. You got Jaime Jaquez Jr., who just finished as a sixth man of the year. You got Pell Larson, you got Kasper Jakuchonis, you got Nikola Jovic, and yes, Jovic has been a stressor since entering the league. I mean, this guy has not been available for most of the year, and that extension just proves to be a bit too much right now. But we've seen glimpses of potential. You can't deny that there's not potential with this guy. It's just more so putting on the court consistently. That is really what it is. That's really what it comes down to. But the Heat do have more intriguing younger players, more draft capital to offer. But again, I do think the Celtics do pose as a threat. And listen, Giannis, he has a very strong say in where he wants to go. He has a very strong say. And he hasn't been one to force the front office's hand. Obviously, he's expressed frustrations, but he's not one to make things crazy. Same with the Damian Lillard situation back in 2023. Yeah, he mentioned Miami only. He wants Miami. We know how that went. But Dame never made it so much so where it was an unbearable situation, if that makes sense. And I would not expect Giannis to do the same. But again, he does have all the leverage because he's virtually under a 1-year contract, player option for the following year. So he does hold a lot of power. It's just more so about, again, where does he want to go? And you don't really want to say Miami, Miami only because of what happened the last time that happened. But man, but of course, a trade would likely involve Tyler Hero, and it's way more than time to get that done. In my opinion, and I've stated this before, I don't think Tyler can elevate your franchise the way that the Heat have wanted to. And we've seen what a hero led team looks like. You're not doing that. You're not doing that good regular season wise. Yeah, you got the play-in tournament, but you needed a couple of big games from Andrew Wiggins and Davion Mitchell, and then you get to the first round and you were a stinker, really. You look at those Cavalier games; they were never close. Especially those final two games in Miami, they were never close. So it's time to move on from Tyler. It is so time. I don't if Tyler's on the roster for next season, I do not expect him to earn an extension. I do not expect that. You're coming off a season where you only played 33 games, and and in those games, it certainly did not lead to winning impacts. So I'm sorry, but I don't think Tyler should be extended if he's still on this roster. But nor do I think he should be. I think that if you somehow fail to get Giannis, which would be the worst case scenario for this team, this franchise, that you should still look to trade Hero. Get something out of it. You can get something good out of this. Come on now. So again, and I've stated this before many times on this show and my articles, that this is a pivotal offseason for the Heat because they need to either get out of mediocrity and be a contender or just simply embrace the rebuild. They need to do this. Otherwise, they're stuck in purgatory, which is the worst place to be in the NBA because if you're not good enough to contend, then you're also not bad enough to get a good lottery pick. Now, in this specific class, this upcoming class, despite a few withdrawals, like such as Florida Gators center Ruben Chinyelu. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, by the way. Excuse me. He's a really good center. But you're seeing players withdraw, go back to college. Obviously, in some cases like Rubens, you have a chance to compete for a national championship, as well as earn some good money, of course. Um, but this class, especially in the lottery range, there's a lot of really good players. Now, I'm not so sure if at 13 that you could get a franchise caliber player, but the fact that you could potentially leave the draft with 2 lottery picks, that really boosts your rebuild. Of course, it's a great way to start. You get 2 lottery picks that you could have as cornerstone pieces, develop them, and the next thing you know, hey, maybe down the line you find another superstar, your next face of your franchise, and then you're off and rolling to a new chapter. But again, the Heat need to get this done. The Heat need obviously again, it's a patient game. This is going to require a lot of patience from media and from fans because with the number 13 pick not being a asset you could rightfully just give up, then okay, you have to wait to the NBA draft. So lot of pressure on the Heat to get this done. Absolutely, and they should be calling the Bucks every other hour just to make sure that they're not, you know, just to see what's out there. But they've got to get this done. They have to get this done. This is you've had multiple chance. You've obviously gone for Giannis multiple times, and in the past it hasn't worked out, and especially with this past trade deadline. But this is the off season to potentially get it done. This is the off season. There is no other better off season to get Giannis, especially when the Bucks are entertaining offers, and even they understand that hey, Giannis might not be here next year. Because in the past, the Bucks have rightfully said that Giannis is going nowhere. Not anymore. They are saying that hey, we're entertaining offers. We don't know if Giannis is gonna be here. They even told Taylor Jenkins before they hired him, listen, we do not know if Giannis will be here next year, so please do not accept the job assuming that Giannis is going to be here. So Taylor Jenkins, he's gambling. He's gambling on whether or not Giannis is going to be there or not. So again, given all the uncertainty, this is the off season to get it done. So please, let's get this done. We got to get this done, and then it puts the Heat obviously in prime position to contend. And then if not, we're stuck in the same cycle. We are stuck in the same cycle. But yeah, we still got a long ways to go. But the fact that we're now this deep in the playoffs, now that the Knicks are in the finals, we're still awaiting the results of sorry about that. But the fact that okay, the Knicks are in the finals, and now we're awaiting the results of OKC San Antonio. Now it's tied to the two right now, and of course today's a pivotal game 5. And as we all know, when a series is tied 2-2, game 5 is virtually the deciding factor of who wins this series. And if I'm not mistaken, yeah, I'm not. Yeah, it's playing. It's gonna be played in Oklahoma City. So as soon as this playoffs is done, matter of fact, once the playoffs are over, the Miami Heat can negotiate with their own free agents, or even restricted free agents like Jaime, like Pell. I don't think Calo's eligible yet, but Tyler Hero, he's extension eligible, but I assume that he will not get it. So I am assuming that obviously they're going to talk to the agents of Jaime and Pell and Norman Powell, him as well. They can begin negotiations, but I have a hard time believing that the Heat are gonna rightfully just or outright uh offer Norman an extension right away, because given all the cap stuff, I mean, they're gonna be very careful with the money. They gotta be careful just so that way they don't put themselves in a position where they can't get Giannis. So it's going to be interesting what can happen. There's so many possibilities here, and I know Norman expressed his interest in returning to Miami, and I know Pat said that they would like him back. And Wiggins, we'll see what he does. He has a player option. He could opt in or opt out of. Um, so there's so much that the Heat have a lot to juggle with, but of course Giannis is the top priority. So they again got to get this done as soon as possible. And now that the Knicks are in the finals, we're getting closer to when things like conversations, trade talks, even free agent talks, we're getting closer to these things intensifying and getting results. So we're getting very, very close. Step by step. Again, it's going to take a lot of patience, but it's a step by step process. I think that should conclude all we have for today. But thank you all for tuning in. And please, just to shout out once again, please, please scan the QR code on the top corner to join the Miami Hurricanes community as we prepare for regionals, and we myself providing coverage, and so sorry about this. But please scan the QR code and join the Miami Hurricanes Roundtable, so that way you can keep up with all the latest coverage on regionals and then further on. Obviously, fall camp is approaching. We're gonna be there for that, and then please, for the Miami Heat, scan the QR code, join the Miami Heat community, where we provide everyday coverage for free. We are tapping into every rumor, every report, everything involving the Heat, even throwing out a couple of trade proposals out there. But hey, it's the off season, and myself and the team, we got a lot of great ideas coming in. So please scan the QR code and tune in. But that will conclude all that we have for today. Thank you all very, very much. Please subscribe to the HeatWave Podcast, part of the Roundtable Sports Network, and we will see you again next time.